Hello, dear friends. Hello, Anna. Are you there? Anna? Okay, let me go get her. Anna, how are you? Okay, where are you, Anna? So, anyway, we're going to be talking about Anna. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the nature of stitches because it is very important to know what kind of stitch you want for your project. So I'm going to wait a little while for other people to come on. I hope you can see me. Hi, Lise. All right. How are you? Potato, how are you? So where's Anna? Let me go find her. Tooth Fairy, hi. How are you doing? Again, how are you doing? Hello. So let me go see what's going on with Anna. Okay, I'll call her. And okay. Hi, Douglas. How are you doing, Queenie? All right. I'm fine. Yes, I am. I'm well. I'm good. So yes. Okay, there's Anna. All right. How are you doing, dear? There's Anna, the Tooth Fairy, and Janine. Do you pronounce it Janine? Queenie. Okay. Hi, Jacqueline. I'm glad to see you here, Douglas. How are you doing? Anyway, we're going to be talking about the nature of stitches because, okay, so let me tell you about stitches. So when you have a project like this glove, you want a stitch that is like a ribbing kind of stitch so that it bounces to the sides, but then it comes back. So that means it will adjust to your hand and not be all wobbly, like so it adjusts nicely to your hand. And let me show you. See, some places it gets closer, some places it gets larger, but it's within the same stitch. So when you make a glove, please find some stitch that has knits and pearls, or some kind of rib, so that it can adjust nicely to your hand. See, it makes it very flexible and it doesn't look wobbly. Anyway, that is one. So, okay. So anyway, when you have a project that is big, then you can have a stitch that is bigger. Like that means that the amount of stitches per repetition here is less. You do not want to have a stitch that the repetitions are, let's say, every 10 plus 2 or 8 plus 2, because then the stitch itself is too large for the project. So you do not want to have a stitch like this for a glove, but you can have a stitch like this that it's a 16 stitch repeat, so that you can have. See, so it depends also on what kind of project you have. So for example, I have a sweater here that is the tweed stitch. I know I have shown you this one before, but see, this is done with 3 different yarns, and it's the tweed stitch, and it's like very nicely formed, so very tailored kind of thing. See it? But if you want something softer, and this is like a blouse, this is the fan and feather stitch, then you can have, but then you, of course you wear something underneath this. But see, this is the fan and feather, and the repetition folds very nicely because the nature of this stitch is that it also adjusts to the width, to your width. See? Ooh. And then if you don't want, when you have it on, it will adjust to your width because it can be as thin as this or as wide as I showed you. So that's a good thing because it's almost like one size fits all or one size fits many, and that's good. And so I have another sweater that I made here, and this is the front. But see, I made a design on this, and the design you put on. See, this is the center of the back. This is the back of the sweater. So the repetitions are like every, let's say, 5 stitches, and it looks very nicely because it is not too tailored, but it folds very nicely. See, it is kind of tailored in the front. See it? But so the stitch itself is what gives it the show. The stitch itself is what makes it look nice. It looks like that in the back, and it looks like that in the front. So in the back, I made a design, and so this is very nice. So you see, you can use any kind of stitch you wish, but the more stitches you have per repetition, the larger the sweater, the bulkier the sweater is going to look. So this is not very bulky because the yarn is very thin, and it's almost like a transparent kind of thing that you put over. I wear this with a velvet brown skirt, a long skirt, because this is kind of long. It's like a tunic, and I wear this over that velvet skirt, and it looks very pretty. So it also depends on how fancy you want it. I like class. I like it. I like people that are nice. Anyway, for example, this is the tulip stitch that we showed you lately. I think it was on the weekend. And see, this is a repetition, but is alternated. So you have to be very careful what you use this for, because it would look very nice as a table runner, but be aware that you're going to be using this with it goes only one way. So if you're going to make a scarf and you want the two front sides, the sizes that fall, to look toward the top, you're going to have to knit 2 halves and then make a 3 needle bind off in the middle, because the stitch goes that way. And so the scarf would not look nice if it goes this way and then it goes this way, and it just doesn't look nice. And it's the same as this one. See, the stitch goes one way, and so you can make a Kitchener stitch in the middle of the back, and it wouldn't show, or 3 needle bind off, and it's in the back. It really wouldn't show. And this is another one that we have, but see, This would be okay for gloves if you put an extra stitch. No, and I think it has two pearls. Yeah, it has two pearls in between each of these. So it's not very stretchy, but it's stretchy enough for gloves. But you have to make sure that this, how many repetitions go around your hand. So very important how many repetitions you need to go around your hand, because if you need 4, well, that's going to be too wide. Or if it's going to be 3, but that would be fine. But you have to be very aware not to use stitches with too many repetitions for gloves. This is very stretchy. This is the slanted leaves, or slanted leaves, I think. But see, this is stretchy and it bounces back. So it's stretchy and then it bounces back. And this is a very nice stitch for gloves or hats. So see, so this I like very much, even for a ribbing, for a round, or even for turbans, because it goes like, it's stretchy. But then the turban would have to go like this. So you cast on the stitches that you need to go around your head, and then just knit that amount. And then when you put them together, remember that we have a video on how to do the turban, and I think I'm going to make a few more. So I have all these stitches. I don't think we have set this yet. I don't think we have. But anyway, it's in the way. But see, I have another one here, and this doesn't have purl stitches to separate them. So this would be nice for a scarf, and it really doesn't matter if it goes only one way. It really doesn't matter because it shows very nicely on both sides, as long as you have a nice edge at the beginning and at the end. So I think I'm going to be making a few more edges, the kind that you can pick up and then finish. So I think I'm going to do that soon. And these are the fans. Remember them? So these are not very good for gloves because they do not have the stretch. And they are not very good for caps either because they don't have the stretch. Unless you want to do something like a, a, one of the hats that is nice and loose, or uh, one of, you know, it doesn't have to go tight around your head, because you can have the ribbing here or at the end. You can have it, that looks this way, because like that you knit from the top to the bottom and then do a ribbing at the bottom if you wish. So that would be nice for a hat if you don't want it tight around your head, because this would be looking nice. So let's see what else I have here. I have a whole bunch of stitches. This is the French fan that's alternated. Yeah. So I tend to keep the last ones that I made. This is the French fan again, but this is not the alternated. This is the French fan, one on top of the other. This is the not alternated, and this is the alternated. See, because it goes so anyway, and yeah, this is also a rib. So make sure that it depends on what kind of project you want to make, that you choose the stitch that is good for the project, because you can make anything you wish, but choosing the right yarn and the right pattern. Now remember that you can use something like this with thicker yarn, or you can change yarns, or you can do, this is the fan and feather, and you can do a whole bunch of things with this. Now this yarn is the self striping. It does it by itself, and it gives it a very nice texture. Try not to use the self striping yarn when you have a stitch like this, because then it becomes a little bit too busy. You don't want to have a self striping yarn when the stitch is too busy. You want the attention set on the stitch. And then when you have too much going on, it just becomes overwhelming. So no, get something that's easy, that's simple, and have the stitch show, because this is more of a classy thing. When you have too many, this is self striping, but this is okay because the project is very big. See? So it's very busy, but the changes of the colors are not that often. They are very separated. So this looks okay, but can you imagine this stitch with one of those uh, striped, variegated yarns, the ones that have all the colors? It would just be too much. So anyway, that's what I needed to tell you. Okay. Of those gloves, Anna. Which gloves? Oh, these are, what are they called? Something, oh, the stars. Star, the star, something of star. This is the stitch. So I have on another cable pattern for my friend's scarf, since the one I wanted got too wide. This is a cable pattern, the one on the sweater. And it's a very pretty cable. And I'm going to be making the cable hearts. I really want to make cable hearts because that will look very nice on like if you have a table runner and it has the hearts in the middle, because you don't want something too bulky on top of a table like a placemat, because then the plate goes all over. But you want a stitch that is kind of in the same place. It doesn't have too much texture, let's say. But a table runner would be okay because then you have the design in the middle. And this is the cable that runs in the middle. It's a double cable. Yeah, but this is like you take 3, put them in the back, and then knit 3, and then put the other 3, put them in the front, knit, and do the other 3. So it's about 12 stitches. Let's see if it's 12 stitches. Maybe it's just those 4, 6, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's an 8 stitch. So it's 2 and 2, and then 2 and 2. Yeah, this is an 8 stitch. So anyway, it depends on what you want to do. How wide is too wide, and what size yarn are you using? With the cables? Twinkle Star. Oh, that's what it is. The Twinkle Star gloves. That's what it is. Something. Yes, the sweater with the cables, and it's really not difficult because what this stitch, you keep moving your stitch. Not, you move the stitch by adding one stitch on one side and taking off a stitch on the other side. And so you add a stitch on the edges and then take off in the middle. And so like that, the stitch goes like so by itself. And then it's a yarn over knitted together. What is it? Yarn over knitted together. It's yarn over knitted together, and then on the next row, right side row, it's knitted together yarn over. So like that, it looks like so. See? So it's yarn over together, and then you come back purling, and then on the next row you do knitted together. Instead of yarn over knitted together, you do knitted together yarn over. And that's it. It's really that simple, and you just add stitches on the edges. So that's what it is. Okay, what else? The yarn is quite thin, so I use 3 and looks like thick. Yeah. Well, yeah. Always make your swatch. Always make your swatch, and like that you can either change needles or use a thinner thread or a thicker one or 2 instead of 3. Okay, let me. It was cables. I love cables too, and some of the Celtic cables are beautiful. They're very intricate, so you end up with a lot of like medallions, and they are beautiful, beautiful. Anna loves those. Okay, I only knitted 4 rows, so it wasn't that bad. Yeah. No, don't give up, Tooth Fairy. Even if you have to take off whatever you knitted, but don't give up because cables are very nice, and then you can find cables everywhere. They are on Pinterest, they are on YouTube, they are everywhere. You can't click on links, but you can copy it, highlight it, copy it, and then paste it. Okay. Okay, dear people. Thank you very much for being with us. And you take care of yourselves, please. Be nice to yourselves and be nice to everyone else. It is not that difficult. It is really not that difficult. It is very easy to be nice and very easy to like peace and quiet. Bye bye, Tooth Fairy. Thank you very much. Okay, where do you come from? Ruta. Hello, so lovely to see you knitting you too. Double cables just come from that video. Okay. You have a great week also, Douglas. Sihita. Thank you. Thank you. Mary! I was thinking about you this morning because you haven't been around here for the longest time. How are you doing? Yes, we will stay safe, Elise. Thank you. How are you, Mary? Cheers. Cheers to you too. We're taking off, but I'll call you, Mary. I'll call you. Bye-bye, Tooth Fairy. So nice to be talking to you the other day. It was a hoot. Thank you very much. Everybody, thank you very much. And you take care of yourselves. And I will see you on next Wednesday. Love you all. Let's see. Okay, that's me saying it. You'd be very, very well. Let's see what else. Bye bye.